Hello and welcome to week 4 of trauma and its impact on child development. We are at our halfway point. You guys did a great job on discussion posts. In general, a lot of great resources shared, good connecting of ideas and asking questions. Be sure your citations match your references. 2 quick notes. TED Talks, often they don't have an author when they're posted. They'll just be posted under TEDx or TED Talks. That is the author. On YouTube, however, always find the poster. Whoever posted the video, that will be the author. Make sure you respond to at least 2 peers. I'll tell you more later. You don't have to have exact knowledge of ACEs, but I do highly recommend reviewing the original study, as that will continuously come out throughout the program. People will discuss a lot of things that they could update or change about it, so you should have a good foundational knowledge about what the original study was about. Please continue to share your outside research in the discussion boards. That is excellent. It's a great way for everybody to kind of pick up extra sources and ideas. I recommend going back through the discussion boards from the week if you have time. See what everybody's talking about. And I recommend making sure that you come up with a strategy on how you're going to do discussion boards. It looks like most of you already have one that's working for you. If you don't, feel free to reach out to your people, say, what are you doing that works? Just find time. And I recommend finding time at the same time every week if you can. So if that means that you're posting Wednesdays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Saturdays, that's fine. Just find a time and place that is going to be consistent and works for you. Since these videos, I always record Sunday mornings so that I have time to review your discussion boards and as much of your assignments as I can. A lot of times I can't get through many of the assignments before I record these because I want to make sure they're available to you guys before Monday morning. This week, you are going to be focused on child trauma and attachment disruptions. You're going to watch this instructor video and there will be a Google form for like a check-in for the halfway point of the course. So your response in the opening remarks will just be saying, I have responded to the Google form, and then I can go look at the Google form and see your responses. If there are any issues with that, please email me immediately so I can figure it out. I still haven't been able to figure out why the APA template did not work in either of my this semester. It just will not let people open it, including me, and I'm going to do it. Make sure you complete all discussion board activities required in supplemental readings, and then you're going to complete and submit assignment 2. Our readings for week 4 are, sorry, I'm on slower internet than usual, an article, 2 videos, and then this website. We're going to continue building the foundation of understanding trauma impact from a neurobiological lens. This understanding of brain chemistry is going to be very key moving forward. A lot of courses are not going to talk about it as much, assuming that you've already built that foundation and remember it. And then just a reminder to notice the feelings that might come up for you. A couple of you already have noted that, either in your discussion boards or privately to me. Make sure you give yourself some time to decompress, think about that, talk about it with others as you need to. This is not easy content. Take breaths and breaks when you need to. As always, if something is really triggering you, please reach out to me. I am almost always happy to give extensions to give you more time, especially if you're willing to, say, this triggered me. I don't need more information than that. And I like to make sure that you get extra time if you need it, because I know this can be very difficult and touchy subjects. All right, our discussions this week. We'll be selecting a quote from the reading, which they have several listed. You don't need to use any of these three. And then you're going to suggest interventions, insights, or strategies to guide student learning success. Make sure that you cite your source, which everybody should have the same one, and any additional sources you use, as well as responding to your cohorts and citing your sources in that response as well. Discussion board 2. Make sure you review the video for this one, and then post your response as to how this information could be applied to your role in education and how you will use that information moving forward. I don't know why it says future forward. That's different. Again, reminder, if you bring in outside resources, that's excellent. Please do. Cite your sources and respond to your peers and cite your sources in those as well. I'm about to get visited by a Great Dane. Hi, how are you? All right. Other big thing for this week is that assignment is due on Saturday at midnight. You're going to examine the role and impact that prenatal forms of trauma have on children's emotional, neurological, social, and physical health. And you're going to describe the implications for education settings. So you're going to choose one of those three options, A, B, or C. Not all of them, not two of them, just one. And you're going to have an APA 7 formatted cover page. Again, if you weren't able to get the template, if you email me, I can get it to you. Plus 2 pages of written content, the normal 5-paragraph essay type format with an intro, your body paragraphs, your conclusion. It's probably more than 5 paragraphs, but it's that same old format you were taught and probably taught in high school, and just adding to it. And make sure you include a reference page. One note from assignment 1, make sure that your reference page is the start of its own page. Just a quick thing from APA. Another note, make sure you look at the headers in the APA manual if you got one, or look up headers for APA online. If you did not get a manual, I still highly recommend getting one if that's an option for you. And what I would recommend as a start, if you're not sure what your headers should be, you're going to have, I actually don't think they want introduction as a header. And I don't have my AP manual. Sorry, I'm at my parents this weekend, so I don't have it with me. But then, so I'm not positive that you're supposed to have a header before your introduction. So double check that, please. But so introduction, and then you could say, importance of understanding the development. That's too long. Importance of the development of a child's brain. And then what is your role? And then conclusion. So if I were writing this and I didn't know how to break it up, I would have 4 headers. I would have my introduction, I would have however I'm going to summarize this, however I would summarize this, and then conclusion. And then down here I would have references. It's a quick way to break up your paper in a way that also reminds you to hit every bullet point. If you're comfortable breaking it up as you want, that's fine. This is just a recommendation if you're struggling with how to break up your paper into headers. Talk about that. Do make sure you cite research. In this type of paper, you should use multiple sources. It shouldn't all be one. Outside sources are great if you're able to bring them in. Please do. Some themes and comments from a side here. In general, you guys did a very, very, very good job writing reflections. I don't think I had anybody where I was like, you did not take this seriously. Everybody, I could tell you actually thought about it before you wrote it. Great. I know I didn't leave a ton of feedback, but it's kind of hard for me to leave feedback on reflections like that, as they're very subjective, and I don't want to in any way come across that I am judging your experience. A lot of people noted the prevalence of ACEs in our classroom, noting that, over 60% of students are more likely than not to have at least one. So odds are that more students in your classroom have ACEs than do not. They have experienced ACEs. And then a couple of you also noted that ACEs are everywhere. Socioeconomics aside, you could be in a very poor, kind of a rougher neighborhood school, and you could have students with no ACEs. And then you could be in a very affluent neighborhood, very safe, and still have students with lots of ACEs. It is hard to tell. There are some general trends, but no. I am sorry, my son just woke up and was about to come talk to me. All right. So yeah, socioeconomics, cultural, there's a lot of things that we would assume immediately say you're going to have a lot of ACEs or you're going to have very little ACEs. And just know that that's not always the case. That yes, there are some general trends related to socioeconomics, but odds are in every classroom you have a child who is struggling with some ACEs. Remember to post and respond to your peers. Since we're asynchronous like this, discussion boards are our in-class discussions. So that would be me giving you a prompt in class and then you guys talking amongst yourself, the very important learning that would go on there. That's what our discussion boards are. And that's why they're going to be part of every course you take and why your instructors are going to find them important in every class that you take. Oops. Sometimes I forget that I have a touch screen. All right, outside research. Thank you so much to everybody who's bringing it in and calling it out early in your post that, during my research, during my outside research. That is a great way to tell your peers, hey, I found this extra resource and you should look at it. It adds a great deal to discussion boards because you're bringing in sources that you took the time to find. And now everybody who reads your post can look at your citation and go find that resource themselves with much less work than you put in to do it in the first place. It's a great way to add to the whole group sources that are, you're building that annotated bibliography and just the knowledge. Lastly, extensions on discussion boards. I just want to put it out there. If you request one and I give you one, just know that Sunday morning at 12:01, it's going to enter as an automatic 0. That is not me saying you don't get any points. That is Blackboard saying you didn't do it on time, because Blackboard doesn't let me enter an extension into the system. On assignments, I can go in and edit the due date. On discussion boards, I cannot. So when you do complete your discussion that you got an extension on, shoot me an email in the same email chain that we had already had discussing the extension, just saying, hey, I finished my discussion boards as we discussed. And I will go back in, seeing the email with, yep, okay, that was the date we agreed on the extension. And I'll go back in and I will edit the grade. I'm usually able to do that day. If you email me before like 6 p.m., probably get it graded that same day. Most of the time. All right, then lastly here, looking ahead to week 6, we will have assignment 3. I'm going to pull this up here so it'll just be easier to read. This is one of the bigger ones. You are going to be identifying 3 strategies that enable educators to address the impact of ACEs in your class. Why does this look wrong? I will have to look at this because it's different between my slides and here. So I will double check this for you guys. I will post an update in week 5, and I will update this if we need to, because I feel like this is the old assignment and we have updated it since. So have a great week. I will send out a message. So watch for a message in Blackboard about assignment 3, just so that you guys have a heads up on what it will actually look like, because this does not look like the right assignment. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing your assignments as they come in. And otherwise, try to stay warm and dry wherever you are. In Minnesota, we have been getting some pretty severe thunderstorms this weekend, and the temperatures have been bouncing between 40 degrees and 80 degrees. Lovely, lovely time in Minnesota.